Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining me today. My name is Rebecca Weimer, and I'm a psychology major here at Rowan College of South Jersey. I started coming here in 2019 when I was 17 years old. I was just taking general classes, getting credits for both my high school diploma and earning college credits. I instantly fell in love with my first psychology class. After high school, I did end up taking some time off just to make sure I fully understood and was clear on what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I came back last year in the spring of 2025, and I instantly just fell back in love with the field of psychology, and I'm very passionate about mental health and the many things that can affect it. This is my last semester at RCSJ, and after I graduate, I plan to further my academic career in neuroscience. My goal is to hopefully one day participate in research studies focusing on cognition, development, and neurodegenerative diseases. The topic I wanted to cover today is the many effects that gaslighting can have on an individual. A perpetrator will typically target vulnerable individuals who may already feel a sense of mistrust in themselves, experience low self-esteem or depression, or may have a history of abuse and trauma. They target these people specifically, typically because their focus is on power and control over their victims. They will typically isolate their victims from any other support system, like their friends or family, making them feel very lonely. This can also be very confusing, and a victim can feel very lost because of this. The term gaslighting originates from the 1938 stage play Gaslight, where a husband manipulates his wife into believing she's going insane. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines gaslighting as a psychological manipulation of a person, usually over an extended period of time, that causes the victim to question the validity of their own thoughts, perception of reality, or memories, and typically leads to confusion, loss of confidence and self-esteem, uncertainty of one's emotional or mental stability, and a dependence on the perpetrator. Gaslighting isn't limited to any one kind of relationship. It can present itself in romantic relationships. It can happen in friendships. It can happen amongst family members like grandparents, parents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles. It can also happen in professional settings like from a colleague or a boss or a manager. The psychological effects that gaslighting can have on an individual is very extensive. It may come with feelings of loneliness, powerlessness, vulnerability, validation-seeking tendencies, incompetence, worthlessness, and insecurity. A primary effect of gaslighting is cognitive dissonance, which is when your feelings don't align with your experiences. Gaslighting can also come with fear of speaking up or expressing one's emotions. Long-term and frequent gaslighting may lead to distorted self-identity, self-worth, and confidence. It can also cause feelings of being inadequate, which can lead to people-pleasing tendencies. Psychology today highlights 3 major mental health effects. Number 1 being unresolved trauma. Unresolved trauma is a result of the loss of power and control when combined with potential isolation from loved ones and significant self-doubt. If this trauma is left untreated, it can lead to re-traumatizing, which causes increasingly more mental health issues. Some examples of unresolved trauma could be just confusion of one's identity, emotional suppression, and learned helplessness, which is pretty much when a victim pretty much just ends up feeling trapped in their situation. They kind of give up on trying to find their way out because they feel there is no way out. Number 2 is thinking errors, which is a result of emotional pressure. This is because of long-term manipulation, questioning reality, uncertainty, and fear. Some examples of thinking errors could be decreased awareness, overgeneralization, and trouble with work or school. Number 3 is anxiety, which is a result of constant state of distrust. This could be accompanied by feelings of being in an unsafe world or impending doom. Anxiety can present itself in many ways, like fear of speaking up, over-explaining, difficulty trusting oneself, apologizing excessively, disassociation, physical symptoms like shaking, and a tight chest. The brain is an adaptable organ, which means that gaslighting can also cause biological and chemical changes in the victim. Chronic stress and trauma from gaslighting can lead to high cortisol, which further can lead to damage of the hippocampus. And the hippocampus is responsible for memory, so this could cause cognition issues. Gaslighting can also lead to enlarged and overactive amygdala, which is responsible for managing emotions. This could cause overreactive emotions, or when a victim feels triggered, it may come across to others that they're overreacting, but it's just a trauma response due to this biological factor. Gaslighting can also have many long-term effects, even after the perpetrator is no longer in the victim's life. Psychologically, the victim can suffer from learned helplessness, long-term, and post-traumatic stress disorder, which could present itself in flashbacks, nightmares, or intense emotional reactions to triggers. Some long-term biological effects could look like brain inflammation or damaged neural connections. A lot of times, individuals have a hard time recognizing gaslighting due to the nature of their relationships. A lot of times, people don't think that someone that they trust would betray them in that way. But just some ways to recognize it. I just listed a few. It could be feeling like you need to excessively apologize, questioning your own feelings, a fear of expressing yourself, or lying to others to protect the perpetrator. In conclusion, although gaslighting is a very real and valid trauma, our brain has an incredible way of combating trauma with neuroplasticity. As defined in the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, neuroplasticity is the capacity of the brain to develop and change throughout life, something Western science once thought impossible. The trauma of gaslighting is definitely something that can be hard to overcome. As stated, there are many effects of it, and it's a lot to work through, but healing and recovery for anything will take time. Some ways to help the healing process is through meditation or breathing exercises. Cognitive behavioral therapy is also a great tool and resource for those experiencing any kind of trauma. And setting boundaries in relationships is crucial during the healing process.